Hello my beautiful little muglets. So in today's video we're going to do a bit of an experiment. I have recorded a lot of my gear salvaging both at +1 and +5. This is going to be a bit more of a complicated number video, so bear with me here. Compiling all this scientific data did take quite a lot of work, so smashing that like button would be greatly appreciated. But without further ado, I'm going to show you all the +1 and +5 salvages so you can see for yourself the difference, and then after we're done with that we're going to go over the numbers, the averages. We did do quite a few more +5s than +1s. I think it's 108 +5s versus 71 +1s. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. We can get the average per, +1 and the awakened stones we get, since we were only ever getting 4-star awakened stones. I believe at one time we actually got a +5, but that one wasn't recorded, so we're not going to include that. So anyway, starting with the first video here, we're gonna go ahead and throw those 12 +1s in there. First 12 +1s of the video, and we get a sad 2 4-star awakened stones. And I think for this video that was actually it, because then I started mixing and matching, that's kind of useless there, so we also didn't include that. So this won't be in the final calculation, but we actually did get a surprising number of 4-star awakened stones for those. 6 4-star awakened stones. There was one +5 in there, a couple of +1 SRs, and the rest +1 SSRs. So in that recording there was only 12. Here are the next 12. And we got 6 4-star awakened stones for those. Much better than the first one, so yes, there is quite a bit of RNG involved, but hopefully we have enough gear salvaging here to get at least a somewhat consistent average, which is what my goal was. On the third set of 12 we got +4 awakened stones, and then for the next set of 12 we got 6 awakened stones. And here you can see us transferring all of our 4-star stones that we got into 5-star stones. 13, definitely by far the most I've ever gotten at once. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Moving on to the last couple of sets of 1-stars, and for that we got 4 4-star awakened stones. And then for the final one, like I said, we got 71. I am going to include this one in the calculations because it doesn't mix and match anything. We were just missing a +1, so I think that's still fair. And for that again, we got 4 4-star awakened stones. Here's the only salvage we're going to do with +0s. We actually threw 9 +0s in there. Just to kind of see, that's kind of all we really had that we didn't want to salvage. And you can see we got 1 4-star awakened stone, so very, very bad in comparison. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the +5 salvages. You'll probably see pretty quickly that yes, it is better. It should be better, or it wouldn't be a question, because it is way more expensive to get +5. And we'll go over those numbers as well. But yeah, for our first 12 we got 8 enhanced stones, which is straight off the bat better than anything we have gotten with +1s. On the next 12, unfortunately, we threw an unawakened SR in there. We are just going to ignore that. I actually didn't notice that when I was making my notes, so we're just going to consider that as 11 and totally ignore the SR in there. I don't think it actually made a difference anyway. And yeah, for that we got 6 4-star awakened stones. So I think in this next recording is the majority of the 5-star salvages. On this first one we got a massive 10 4-star awakened stones, which was very nice. And then throwing in 12 more, we only got 4. So yes, there can be a very, very big difference, so I think it's good to have as much of a sample size as possible, because then on this next salvage, you can see we got +16 4-star awakened stones. There is a huge range. So we're going to continue on here. Our next 12 gives us 12, and then the final 12 set salvage also gives us 12. So, oh yeah, and real quick, I'm not sure if I ever showed this. I actually got my massive mistake on recording. I was just mindlessly upgrading all of my enhanced stones. You can see I got 25 4-stars there. And then I accidentally skipped going to 4-stars and hit 5-stars. And without even looking at anything, you can see how fast that went by. I just hit max and boom. And yeah, there that was. I stared at that screen for like 2 minutes being like, what the hell is this thing? This is a long time ago when I recorded this. Still quite painful nonetheless. But anyway, we have a couple more sets of +5s to do here. We're gonna do those live. I just kind of prepared them before I started recording, so here we go. I always have to make sure everything is cool there, because I really don't want to mess anything up, especially in this very, very scientific experiment. There we got +10. Very nice. Write that down, write that down. And we're just gonna do this last set of 12. We have a couple more pieces of gear down there, but we're not going to bother with it. And let's see what we get here. Would be awesome to get a 5-star stone. I know it's possible, but not this time. This time we got 6, which is definitely on the lower end, but it's alright. So by this point, you know, without throwing any numbers at you, it should be totally obvious that +5 is much better than +1. And it is, but there are some things you need to take into consideration. Before those things you should take into consideration, I'm going to run some numbers by you anyway. The average awakened stones you get per piece of +1 or +5 gear. So let's start with the +1s. We salvaged a total of 71 +1s, and we got a total of 26 4-star stones, which means in that example, on average, you get 0.366 stones per +1 gear, or roughly 3 pieces of +1 SSR gear per 4-star stone. So as far as +5s go, we used 107 +5s and got 84 4-star awakened stones. And that comes out to 0.78 stones per +5 SSR gear. With perhaps a bit better RNG, we can get that closer to 1 stone per 1 +5 SSR gear. It's kind of hard to say, but yeah. So if your only goal is getting awakened stones, it's a no-brainer. Go +5 on all SSR gear. As far as SR gear is concerned, I'm gonna assume it follows the same trend, just with the lower grade stones. I do notice a lot more 4-star stones with SR gear than 5-star stones with SSR gear, even though I don't +1 to +5 my SR gear very often because it just takes a long time. So for SR gear, if it follows the same patterns as SSR gear, which again I assume it does, I would say it's definitely worth the cost of enhancing it to +5. Just if it's worth the time to do so, that's up to you. But with all that being said, let's talk about gold, because this is the main thing that separates +1 and +5. For those 71 +1s, we needed 1,500 gold per piece, or 106,500 gold for all 71. Sounds like a chunk of gold, you know, 106k just for salvaging some gear, where you could do it for free without enhancing it. Yeah, you know, sounds like some change. But when you consider that it costs 22,500 gold per +5, then it sounds like nothing in comparison. For those 107 gears we +5'd, it costs us 2.4 million gold. So that indeed is a pretty penny. So it really depends on what you value more. Personally, I value awakened stones as pretty much the highest thing. Maybe diamonds are a little bit more, maybe SSR pendants, but currently, that's like the way to get stronger. I believe we're going to be having level 75 limit break tomorrow, so that's going to be cool too. Thankfully, I have quite a few SSR pendants saved up. We can also get 1 per day from that event going on, so that's pretty nice too. There are also enhanced stones to consider. For +1s, you need to use 5 to get it to +1, and then you get 10 back when you're salvaging. So you're actually gaining 5 enhanced stones per +1 salvage. When it comes to +5 though, you need 25 to enhance them to +5, and you still only get 10 back, so you're losing 15 enhanced stones per salvage. However, at least in my case, I would want to waste those enhanced stones because they're currently taking up a ton of my inventory. I recently just kind of got angry at it and got so much storage space. As you can see up there, I have 370 because I kept running out all the time because of these damn enhanced stones. We have what, almost 12,000? So that's like a third of my inventory taking up just from an enhanced stone. So personally, yeah, I would rather actually use them. I know I can sell them, but that just seems kind of a waste when they're worth 100 each. And I feel like maybe at one point I will need them, so I don't really want to sell them. But yeah, that is something to consider if somehow you are low on enhanced stones. So in summary, the only pro to +5 is that you get more awakened stones, but that can't be understated because at least in my test you get over twice as many enhanced stones on average. And yes, it costs a lot more gold, so if you're really struggling on gold and you like don't have any boxes to sell or whatever, then to be perfectly honest, I would just not salvage your SSR gear. Try and hold on to it until you have more gold, because I really think it's worth +5ing. If these results stay consistent anyway. I don't think there can be a massive margin of error, but of course the more you would salvage of +1s and +5s, the more accurate it would be. But considering from those 71 +1s, the highest we got was 6 4-star enhanced stones, which was the same as the lowest we got from the +5s outside of one 12 salvage where we got 4. But the rest were at least 6, and then you know we got a couple 10s, couple 12s, even a 16 thrown in there. So it'd be very hard to convince me that that's just coincidence or RNG that we got so many more on the +5s. But yeah, there it is. There is my experiment. Make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Have you tried experimenting with this too? You know, trying +1s, +5. Have you noticed a difference? Has this helped, seeing it sort of condensed with numbers? And I don't even really know what this is, but there were things on the screen. Make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Again, dropping a like is greatly appreciated if you did happen to enjoy. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.